Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Talk It Up Tuesday. Happy Talk It Up Tuesday. This is Michael Demond here from We Merge Media on behalf of Be Well Magazine, bringing you Talk It Up Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and let us know that you can hear us and you can see us. Let's go ahead and get this studio set up and let me bring Amani up. Amani, how's it going? How are you today?
It's going. I'm feeling good. It's still a little sunny out here, and so I'm
Yeah.
just catching the tail end of this beautiful day.
Beautiful. So, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Today, we're going to have a good conversation like we always do. And today, we're going to talk about something that we had been sharing through text message with Carmen Ray. And we had got some nuggets from this video that we were watching on YouTube that we want to talk to you about. So, thank you for tuning in. Please go ahead and hit that share button so we can bring some more people to the conversation. Today, we're going to talk about beliefs. We're going to talk about limitations. We're going to talk about really where are you putting your focus and where you're putting your energy and how is that manifesting itself in your life. We were listening to a video from Myron Golden earlier this morning, and we're going to go through and play a couple of clips. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and just take a commercial break real quick and let you know about a couple of things that's coming up in the Be Well community. So stay tuned.
Explore Us TV proudly presents the Big Dream MKE Retreat, hosted by Be Well Magazines at the beautiful Iron Horse Hotel in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Be Well is celebrating 10 years of gathering women together to be well connected, informed, and inspired to form collaborations that uplift communities across the globe. Thanks to the sponsorship of the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce, WNOV 860, Copyright Magazine, Transitions Financial Management, Blessed by Design, Natural E, and We Merge Media, attendees of the Big Dream MKE Retreat will enjoy a powerful weekend of personal and professional development and fellowship. The Big Dream MKE Retreat is an opportunity to learn from industry experts who will inspire you to take your business to the next level. Can't make the retreat in person? Get full access to Saturday's Big Dream MKE panel discussion and keynote presentation by subscribing to ExploreUsTV.com.
All right. So thank you again for being here with us this month, next week. We're going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the Big Dream Retreat at the Iron Horse Hotel. For those of you who have your tickets, I can't wait to see you that weekend. For those of you who weren't able to get your tickets in advance and you want to still tune in for the festivities, go to ExplorersTV.com, get your subscription because you can live stream some of the event with your subscription to Explorers TV. So that's ExplorersTV.com where you can get that subscription. So, Monty, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this video. I have been up super early this morning, and usually when I'm up, I'm kind of teetering between: do I just get up and go jump on the computer right away, or do I do some brain training? So I decided to do a little brain training, and I came across this video that I shared inside of our text group. It's from Myron Golden, and the title of it was "It's Time to Put Your Faith to Work." So we're going to play a couple clips from that. But Amani, I just want to ask you before we get into the clips, how did that video, what are a couple things that really stood out to you from that video once you saw it?
Man, a couple. It was so many things that resonated with me, and it was exactly what I needed to hear going into today. I saw your message early this morning because I went to the gym. Probably got to the gym around 4:30 a.m. And I saw your message when I woke up, and I'm like, before I watched it, I text you. I said perfect timing because I just knew the message was gonna be on point. And you really
Yeah.
don't share stuff unless it's like an impactful, powerful message. And so I listened to it when I got done with the gym, and I was just like texting y'all in the group chat, like, man, this is on point. Like this, the language, the clarity, because Myron Golden don't cook like it's no cookie cutter like nice way of saying the things that he says. He's straight to the point and letting you know exactly what you need to do to get to the next level, whether it be personally or in your career. And what stood out to me the most is his focus in on confidence and what prevents a lot of people from getting to where they're trying to go, and confidence being at the top of that list. And so that's something I've been struggling with for years. And somebody will watch my journey and think like, oh, she got all the confidence in the world. She's built a brand from scratch. at such an early age. But the lack of confidence that exists within me as I created and developed this brand, if I had the level of confidence Myron Golden talks about in this video, I'd probably be 10 steps ahead. Everything happens for a reason. I'm grateful for where I am. But he gave me some insight that I needed as far as what it's going to look like to go to the next level. So that's my overall feedback on the video so far.
Nice. Yeah. And, you know, when I was watching that video, I took one of Myron Golden's challenges last year, and it was a Make More Offers challenge. So he really kind of talks about the psychology of your offers, how you structure them to sell your products and your services. Great thing. If you haven't seen it, I know he usually does them a couple times a year, but it's called the Make More Offers challenge. Look for that. But inside of this video, we're going to be watching, it looks like he's inside of a room with a group of people and doing a presentation. It's about 30 minutes long. So we'll go through and play a couple of clips, but we'll also put the clip link into the comments so that you can go and watch it on your own in case we can't get through it all in our time. So let me go ahead and just get this video brought up. We'll kind of play through some of the talking points and have some conversation about them.
Have you ever wondered why some people live a seemingly limitless life while other people seem to live a life filled with limitations? Well, I submit to you that limitless life or life of limitations is a choice that you get to make. In fact, it's a decision you get to make. You're going to find out why there's a difference between a choice and a decision, but you're also going to find out why the people who live a seemingly limitless life live a seemingly limitless life. It seems like the people who are the best of the best are so far and away ahead of everybody else that people feel like they're never going to catch up. So you think about somebody like Tiger Woods in his heyday, right? When he went to a golf tournament, everybody expected him to win. He was number one in the world for, I don't even remember, 150 something weeks in a row, which is more than 3 years in a row. He was number one in the world. Nobody else has ever even come close to that. But he was so far and away, people just decided, his opposition, his competition decided if he was playing that he was going to win, which means he decided that for them. When Michael Jordan was in the league, like he did stuff that nobody ever thought about doing before. And so the question is, like, I'm not gonna play basketball like Michael Jordan. I'm not gonna play golf like Tiger Woods. But I wasn't put here to play basketball like Michael Jordan, and I wasn't put here to play golf like Tiger Woods. But I was put here to be the king of my thing. And you were put here to be the king of your thing. Or ladies, you were put here to be the queen of your scene. And you can be the best of the best. Forget about the rest. There's no such thing as competition. You can live a limitless life if you learn to believe more in your leverage than you do in your limitations.
All right. So that was one of the first nuggets that really spoke to me, was the fact that, you know, we talk about this a lot when we're talking to people who are inside the Be Well Platinum membership and coaching them. And oftentimes people come in, you know, we all do it. You get exposed to people who are at a level that have been, you know, mastering their craft for quite some time, and you start comparing yourself to them and you start feeling like you don't have enough or you can't do what they do because your story is different than theirs. But as he was mentioning, like, the thing that really makes you unique, where it is easy to say there is no competition, is that each of us have our own unique experiences that we bring to the table and whatever it is that we do. And that's something that nobody can ever duplicate. Nobody has your stories, your life experiences. No one has those things that really shaped you to be who you are, to do the things the way that you do. And that's the thing that really stood out to me. What about you, Monty? Anything from that clip?
Definitely. I've been hearing that a lot lately about no matter what industry and no matter what thing you decide to do, because you're who you are, like, you're always going to stand out. And I think when it comes to like traditional ways of becoming successful, like playing a sport or being an artist, and I don't mean traditional in the sense that they have it easy, but like standing out in those fields is a lot harder, because most people you ask in school, what do you want to be when you grow up, they're saying something within that field. So when I think about entrepreneurs and people who go for the for showing up unique in an industry that's untraditional, that's what I thought about when I saw that clip, because you can really decide Like, what is it about me that stands out, and how can I fit that into my niche area or niche market and really show up in a unique way in this world? But when I think about markets or industries like basketball or even music, they have to work really hard to show up in a way that everybody else doesn't show up. And that doesn't mean we have it easy, but we have a little bit more leverage in the creativity we use to be able to say, oh, I'm going to create this product that people didn't even know that they needed. You know what I'm saying? To make an impact on the world and on the lives of the people around me. So that's kind of what I got from that clip. Like, what are the things that we could do? Like, even if you do go for basketball or nursing or all those other more traditional pathways, being able to identify what makes me different in that industry, I think is so important. And the thing that makes you different is being you.
Right, which is seems like it should be easy to do and not always easy to do. I think that that's one of the things I love about the Natural Lead University that you do, is that you really give people a starting place to really start seeing that value in their unique experiences and really feeling comfortable and owning that. And it sounds like it should be easy, like, oh, well, the more you focus on you and who you are and your story and really own that and feel confident with that, the easier it becomes. But it's just, there's so many layers to work through, because through most of our life, a lot of us are told that what we are isn't enough, or that we have to become something else. And, it's a challenge for people to kind of dig through those layers. So that's a good point that you bring up. The other thing that I wanted to just kind of tap on too, because we use that in our title, was that where you put in the power of your belief. Are you putting the power of your belief on your limitations, or on the leverage that you have through really having that confidence in who you are? So, just thinking about that, I can recall a time where, I was more focused on the limitations rather than how I can leverage my uniqueness to be able to carve a space out for myself. So think about that. A lot of times we put a lot of that energy and that thought energy into all the things that are keeping us from being who we want to be or where we want to be. But just like Amani said, the power of the choice and the decision that you can make to just flip that switch and tell yourself a different story. It takes practice, but it works, and it's definitely worth doing.
That's good. I want to shout out Desiree Crocroft in Milwaukee. If y'all met her, she's a dynamic individual. She does a lot of speaking engagements, and she made a Facebook Live yesterday where she said, if you were ready, what would you do? Like, if you like, what are in your business, in your life, what is something you would do if you were ready? And that had me thinking, because it's like, what does ready mean? Like,
Yeah, what does that
when
look
we
like?
when we answer that question. So, for instance, first thing that came to mind was, for me, was to hire a team. And so then you ask yourself, oh, why am I not ready to do that? Oh, I'm the reason I'm not ready to do that thing. So what do I need to do to prepare myself, to prepare my mindset, to prepare my skill set, to be able to be ready for this thing that I want to do? And then I've also, like, I know we're supposed to be playing these clips. I don't mean to
No,
get too
this is
deep,
what we're
too
doing.
deep
We have
in.
a conversation about the clips.
Man, I was watching a YouTube, or no, I'm in a course community with Aaron on Demand, and she talked about one of the last lessons talks about, are you ready to hire a team? And like, half the time, if most of us had the access or opportunity to hire a team right now, they would be sitting around doing nothing or doing meaningless work, because we don't know how to delegate properly. We don't
Right.
really understand what it is that we need help with. And so she had this really dope, like, chart to fill out based on, like, what are you currently doing, what do you like doing, what do you not like doing, what could you do, but you what do you like doing but you could delegate it, things like that. And just those questions, sometimes as an entrepreneur, hearing certain questions or a shift in perspective can make all the difference. Like, the shift in perspective, I'm gonna talk more about this later, but the video you sent caused a shift in me today that's going to make an impact on my life for the rest of my life. And a lot of us aimlessly listen to these YouTube videos, but I've been in the season. You've been teaching me brain training since like 2014, 2015. You've instilled the value and the importance of brain training in me. And I used to aimlessly listen to all of this important information and never do anything about it. But now it's very rare that I listen to a video without actively listening to. Now I actively listen, and I have my notebook ready and I'm taking notes, and like, literally, I put on my calendar focus brain training. Like actually focus, put your phone down and write notes, because the information in this video can transform lives. And a lot of times they put it on the platform for free because they know like 99% of the people aren't going to use it. But be the 1% that is going to use it and actually make a difference in your life by doing what it takes to implement the information you're learning in these videos. We gotta make sure by the end of this video we give them some sort of tangible takeaway, something to implement, so they're not just wasting their time to listen to another Talkative Tuesday and not doing something different than they were doing before they watched this episode.
Good advice. Good advice. I want to just say, hey, thank you for joining. Kim, we see you out there. Carmen, we see you out there. Thank you. Yolanda, we see you out there. Thank y'all for joining. Let's go ahead and we're going to play some more of that clip and see what other nugget we can talk about today.
And most people believe more in their limitations than they do in their leverage. And so what they do is they go around proving to themselves that all the stuff they thought they couldn't do, they were right about it. There's a different way to live your life. Now, I
just had to come back real quick to touch on that because we talked about that power of belief and the weight of that, and the fact that, you know, I think I remember seeing somewhere there, it was like, whatever you believe about yourself is true. And it is so true. You know, they talked about the fact that you put more belief into them limitations and that becomes your reality. But you like, but it is true because this is, look at my life, look at the things that are happening around me. People don't go back to realize, but those things are happening because that's what you believe. You know, so that's one of those things I just want to remind you of, because I've been one of them. I've been in that place before.
And I love what I don't know, I don't think this came up yet, but being exactly what you said, being able to look at the things that happen, the things that happen in our life are happening for us and not to us. And sorry, I'm probably going ahead. I don't think he said that yet, but that, man, that got me together today. Like literally thinking about things in a way where you understand this is happening for me and not to me, and being able to take whatever lesson you can take from everything that happens to you, good or bad, and saying, okay, this is a part of a valuable, bigger lesson that's going to make me a better person, a better business person, all those things. I think it's really important to put those things into perspective.
Yeah, and that goes right back to having the power to choose. Like you can choose what impact that life experience is going to have on you. Is it going to keep you there and hold you where you are and rewrite your story and become your story? Or will you make a decision to be able to take that lesson from that and then be able to tell yourself a different story and chalk that up as a lesson? You know, that's a valuable thing that is a must.
When I think of what's possible for me, I pretty much think everything that's a part of my thing is possible for me. And the only thing that's impossible for me is that something that I'm supposed to do would be impossible for me. And if you'd learned, that's a disciplined way of thinking that most people don't have. Like the biggest key to success is not a morning routine. The biggest key to success is not, well, you have to wake up at 5:30 every morning. Well, I don't wake up at 5:30 every morning. Now, and in fact, there are some mornings when I wake up at 5:30, but for the most part, that's not most mornings, right? You know when I wake up? Usually when I'm done sleeping.
You know, I had to pause there because that's freedom. The power to wake up when you are done sleeping. I'll tell you that right there, because there are so many things that you read, you see, and everybody talks about all these things that they do that make you feel like, oh, I have to do these things. Now, some of these things work for people and they need that discipline to be able to kind of put that into place. But to me, for where I am in my life, we've been talking about freedom a lot, time freedom, personal freedom, financial freedom, the freedom to wake up when you're done sleeping. That's the kind of freedom that I'm after.
That's a whole different kind of freedom. It's funny because I've listened to all these things that tell you to wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. What's the name? Eric Thomas wake up at 3 something a.m. And I thought that was the way of life. And then I started listening to people who are also successful talk about a lot of people who are successful and living their life as millionaires or whatever you deem successful. They're not necessarily getting up at 5 a.m. Like you really have to understand your peak productivity timing and adjust, in a way that makes sense for you. But for me personally, I started getting up earlier because that's something I've always wanted to master. I've always wanted to master my mornings and have a productive morning routine and all those things. And so I challenged myself to become a morning person. I never thought I was going to successfully be a morning person. The earliest that I would be comfortable getting up is 7 a.m. But now I get up around between 3:45 and 4:30 to get to the gym by 5 o'clock. And so I can eat and get ready and get and comfortably go into my morning routine. And I love it. I love it. I don't even want to go back, but I definitely think that it depends on who you are and what you want. If what you want is to be able to have a productive morning routine and you want to use your time in the morning for yourself before you have to answer to anybody else, that's going to require getting up earlier. But if you could care less about that, then it doesn't matter. So people just have to adjust to what works for them.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm a morning person naturally, so I'm usually one of those people that's up at 3, 4, 5. And part of that is because when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, that was always my peak productivity time. I love the fact that I could get up uninterrupted, not worrying about emails and phone calls coming through, notifications going off, and really just have sometimes a good 4 or 5 hours before the rest of the world wakes up and starts being active. So I've always loved that time. And the point that you talked about peak productivity is also key. Like, you do need to know what works for you. I know what works for me, the work that I do between that 4 or 5 a.m. when I wake up in the morning. And I would probably say in my time up till about 1 p.m. After that, it's time to start shutting stuff down. I've had my full day in, but it's important for people to kind of think about their lifestyle and what that looks like for them, knowing when you are going to be at your best and planning your work accordingly to when you know that you're going to be at that peak productivity. So I'm glad you mentioned that point. Jackie said, nope, not getting up at the crack of dawn unless I'm heading to the airport. I'm with you, Jackie. I'm totally with you on that. All right, let's go ahead and listen to a little bit more.
Right? So that, you have to do this, and you have to exercise in the morning, and you have to drink a cup of coffee in the morning, and you got to work out, and you can't look at your cell phone. All that's great. I mean, you can set your environment up in a way that you're more likely to win, but the reality is you have to make a decision, and then you have to learn how to understand the difference between a choice and a decision. Because here's what's not going to happen. You're not going to achieve anything in your life without confidence.
All right, I know that's one of those ones that you really like. I saw your face smile. So what you got?
No, that's my part. That shifted my whole paradigm. Is that the right word? It shifted my whole paradigm today. It's because he gonna probably talk about it. The analogy. I'll wait until you talk more about that. But choice. I don't even want to talk about it because I know he about to say more. But
yeah, I can let it go.
Yeah, let's let it go first because I have a lot to say about that, and I want him to say his piece, and then I could just add my perspective.
All right.
What is confidence? Well, the word confidence, the root word of the word confidence is what? Confide. And what does the word confide mean? It means to trust. And so when a person doesn't have confidence, what it means is they don't trust themselves. Why don't you trust yourself? Why don't you have confidence? Why do you believe that if somebody else did it, it would work? But if you did, it's not going to work. Is that a good question, my people? Talk to me, my people. Talk to me. So that's a good question. So we don't want to, I don't want to go through life looking, well, yeah, of course they can do it, but not me. No, but of course I don't know if anybody else can do it or not, but I know I can get the deal done. Right? Put me in the arena where the battles are being fought, where the awards are being won. It's so interesting. I talked about David a couple of weeks ago, right? David and talk about the story of David and Goliath. And one of the things I didn't cover in the story was when David came down and David came down to bring food to his brothers. And he came down and he heard the giant. And then David, before he decided to fight Goliath, he negotiated, renegotiated, and renegotiated again his contract. Because he said, what shall be done to the man that slayeth this, that killeth this Philistine? Well, he's going to get the king's daughter as his wife. I'm going to be the son-in-law to the king. Okay, that's a good start. What else? Well, he's going to be son-in-law to the king. He's also king's going to enrich him with great riches. And then his family will be tax-free in Israel. just give me the last one. I don't need the king's daughter. I don't need just that tax-free one. That's the one I'm looking for right there, right? And so after they told him that, he literally turned to somebody else and said, "What's going to be done?" And then somebody else answered him after the same man. Then he turned to somebody else and said, "Now I want to make sure before I go fight this guy, I want to know how much my check is going to be." And see, one of the problems we think that not charging for the results that we produce in our environment is somehow being humble. It's not being humble. It's just not being very smart. David said, I want to know, I'm going to kill the giant anyway. But since I'm going to kill him anyway, I want to know how much I'm going to get paid.
All right.
Yeah. He didn't exactly get to the part I was thinking of, but he went in. That confidence is so important, and that decision versus making a choice is so important. And what he said that got me was the fact that we go into our day, we go into our life, and we say, oh, they can do it, but we don't even verbalize it sometimes. We just think, oh, they can do it, I can't. Or because of Michael Jordan did it, or a Beyonce did it, or an Oprah did it, we don't look at that. Like a lot of times we in our community, in our culture, we talk about how important representation is, but sometimes we see representation and we feel like it's out of reach. Like representation and it's exciting and it gives you something to aim at. But a lot of times people look at these successful people and say, oh, that's dope. I could never do that, but that's amazing. And that got me together because I'm like, I unconsciously carry that mindset. And although in my spirit, I'm like, oh, I love that. I want to be able to do that. And instead of saying, I love that, I'm going to do that, it's more of a like, I want to be able to reach that level of success. I want to work towards it. But like, if we make up in our mind and make a decision and say, this is like the heights I'm reaching to, man, that could really change the trajectory of our lives. If we just make a decision, because a choice is something we do every day. We choose to get up and put our shoes on and start our day, but rarely do we go about our day with decisions and saying, I'm making the decision to get up, put my socks and shoes on, and get going to the gym. And this is a lifestyle. It's more of a one-time occurrence. I'm choosing to do this today. But how often are we making a decision to create a lifestyle that's reflective of what we need to do in order to reach the level of success we want to reach? So I can say a lot more about that portion, but that choice versus decision, specifically the analogy he used about the birds. If there, I think he said something like, if there were 5 birds on a ledge and 2 of them chose to fly away, how many birds are left? Let me know in the comments, y'all, what y'all think. If there's 5 birds on the ledge and 2 of them made a choice to fly off the ledge, how many birds are left?
I'm curious to see what the responses are.
I am too.
So should I play a little bit more?
Oh. Yeah, and this really determines if y'all understand the difference between a decision and a choice.
All right.
And he confirmed it twice after he heard it. Why? Because in the Hebrew culture, at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let everything be established. So now he's like, okay, I got my contract. Now I got my marching orders. And see, one of the problems, like you don't, people talk about count the cost. Yeah, count the cost, but also count the commissions. Like, how much am I going to get paid? People ask me all the time, man, like, how do I know how much to charge for producing a result for a client? My answer is always the same. You always start with this. Is it a price that makes you smile? If it's not a price that makes you smile, it's too low. Yeah. Now, see, here's what your problem is. You thought it was supposed to be a price to make your customer smile. They can smile or don't smile.
So that was a good one too, because yesterday we just held that workshop about the 100K revenue roadmap and how to price your products and services. and that question comes up a lot. We talked about the journey of being a new entrepreneur who doesn't have a lot of confidence in what they're doing and how your price usually reflects that. And, for him to talk about that when I listened to this morning, I was just thinking back to that conversation in my own personal experience. Even today, we had something before the show that we were talking about, and you just think about that. We often want to, because of our lack of confidence, will prioritize the person who needs the value that we provide, what's going to make them happy rather than what's going to make us happy. There have been times where I did that and regrettably later on took on work where I'm just like, this was my fault. You really have to blame it on yourself, because I was more concerned about, well, how are they going to feel if I say this or when I put it at this amount, as opposed to like, what's going to make this work? I know the value of what I'm going to do and what value is going to add for them, but I didn't have the confidence to really think, like he said, what's going to make you smile? What's going to make you do that work feeling good and being happy with the result in the end?
Yeah, and you have to be okay. Something you've taught me along this journey and what I learned from this video is that we have to be okay with not working with people who don't respect our prices, not working with people who don't respect our value. And that's the hardest part when you are starting off as an entrepreneur, because you want to adjust to whatever you feel like the customer needs. And they often say, customer first, and worry about the customer, worry about the customer. But if you're not happy in that equation as the business owner, what's the point of doing what you're doing? So being able to put an emphasis on your happiness, and the right customers will be attracted to you, versus the other way around, trying to make the customers happy and then you looking salty in the end. It's just not worth it to do it that way. And a lot of us been doing it that way for quite some time now. So it's really time for us to put a price on it that makes us smile, and operate in a way operate with the level of confidence that makes us even more valuable. Because it's like, for me, that's like you said, we were just talking about this before we hopped on here. It's real easy to fall into the trap of adjusting to what people need, instead of them adjusting to what you offer.
Good point. Good point. So we have an answer in the comments here. Carmen said 5 when you asked the question about the birds.
hmm
Is that
hmm
correct?
That is correct, because those birds, they didn't make a decision. They just thought about it. Like, we all making choices in our head every day. Like, I made a choice to start a business 9 years ago. Not once have I made a decision to build an empire that's going to really change not only my life, but the lives of the people who engage and interact with my brand and my business. We have to make serious, definitive decisions that are in position to change lives. And we can't do that by just making these little choices along the way. What you
Right.
think about that, Mike?
Hey, I lived it. I lived
Mhm.
it, and I'm coming out of the repercussions of making that decision, because for the longest I backed away from the idea of thinking of myself as a CEO. Y'all know we talk real transparent on here, and we be real open.
Yeah.
So to me, that's been one of the best ways that I've learned, by learning from other people's stories and experience. But I've done that, and I would always just think about, well, what do I need to get by? And that did not give me what I needed to be able to reinvest and to be able to build a team and to be able to put an infrastructure in place that was going to allow me to grow and to be able to help other people who believe in the vision of what I'm doing and creating, and to be able to support them and provide an opportunity for them too. So I know the repercussions of thinking that way. And, last year was my first year, like, having a different mindset. This year, I took that mindset to a whole another level. So I'm going through that process of what it's like when you don't believe, and to versus what it's like when you do believe and you do, look beyond and bigger. You talked about being able to do something that's going to really have an impact on more than just you. I know all too well what that's like. And I see some people out in the comments too as well. Let's see, all right. So we got a couple minutes left in our show. I'm going to play a little bit more clip, and then we're going to close out. You thinking about some assignment for them?
Yeah, I actually thought about it just now, so I'm gonna save it to the end.
Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and get this clip going, and then we're going to close out, and we'll be sure to share this so you can watch the rest of the video in your own
And
time.
actually, I'm gonna sign it right now. So as they're listening to this, they can think about it. I
Okay.
want y'all to put in the chat, if you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from, let us know in the comments, what decision are you making? Not the decision you're making tomorrow, not the decision you're making an hour from now. What decision are you making right now as a result of what you learned during this Talking Up Tuesday episode? And it can, as you reflect, it can be based on the choice you've already made, and you turn that choice into a decision that's going to have a lifelong impact versus just a momentary impact. I want y'all to make a decision right now. Think about it as you're watching the clip. If you know your decision, put it in the chat. And we want to see the decision in the chat. I don't even want to hop off this episode of Talk Up Tuesday until I see y'all decisions in the chat. Because y'all been commenting, y'all done had a lot to say. I want to hear what y'all got to say about these decisions that y'all are making, whether it's personal to your life or your business, because everybody on here is not an entrepreneur. Just let me know, y'all. What's one decision? What's one decision you're going to make as a result of what you learned from this episode of Talking Up Tuesday, or just the Myron Golden video in general?
Jackie said, my decision, I'm sticking to being intentional.
She's ready.
Yeah,
Miss Jackie always ready. I love it. Stay ready. You don't got to get ready.
exactly.
I'm sticking to being intentional. Tell me a little bit more as we watch this next clip. Tell me a little bit more in the comments, Miss Jackie. Define that a little bit more for me. Sticking to being intentional. Do you mean in general? Are there some specific things you're being intentional about? Let me know.
Help you, right? But if I'm gonna do it, you're gonna have to make it worth my while. Otherwise, I ain't interested. I got a call from a guy recently, and he wanted me to speak virtually or live at a conference with thousands of people. He says, "So how can we make this work?" I said, "Well, you want me to be there, like physically, pay for my air travel. It's $11,000 an hour." And I know, oh, that's crazy. You're just whatever. Okay, do you? Okay, that's mine. And I'm okay not speaking too. Okay, so let's start there. I'm okay with that's too much for us. I'm okay with that. It's $11,000 an hour for me to get there. It was in Las Vegas, from Tampa to Las Vegas. $11,000 an hour there and back. 5 hours there, 5 hours back. So that's 110 grand just for travel. That doesn't include my room, because you're going to need to get me a room. And my speaking fee is $250,000 an hour. So I'll come speak. You pay me $250. You pay for my travel. I'll happily come speak on your stage. Oh, well, it's a big stage. We just wanted to give somebody exposure. Well, you can give somebody else exposure. I'm good. I got all the exposure I need. I'm good. Now, I'm not saying everybody's prices need to be that high, but see, what a lot of people don't realize, like people think, oh, your prices are just that high because you think you're all that in a bag of chips. No, because time is something that I have less and less of every day, and I value my time whether you value it or not. And by the way, you're never going to value my time if I don't value my time. Right? So a lot of you are frustrated because you want your clients to put a higher value on your time than you do. Can I get a witness? But I'm not doing that. It is what it is. It costs what it costs, right?
I
You
love
want
that
your
part.
clients to put a higher value on your time than you do? He was slapping me all in the face in this video. I feel like he was just hitting me upside the head, knocking me silly. Because I was like, how do he know my life? Like, how do he know that this is what I'm thinking? This is how I'm operating. And that is so on point. We have expectations. And that's not even just in business. We expect people to respect us more than we respect ourselves in general. And so putting it into the perspective of business, it's so often we expect people to respect our prices and we don't respect our own prices. We expect people to respect our time and we don't respect our own time. Like it's so many moments I can remember where, like, last minute I got called for an opportunity, or I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm on my way. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Oh yeah, I'll take this opportunity. And when we operate like that, we normalize it for the people we're interacting with. And so people are so used to me giving free shirts or giving discounted like 50% off all the time. And that has changed significantly since I moved to Arizona. And I'm just not operating out of that scarcity mindset of trying to hurry up and get it versus like actually valuing my product so other people can value it as well. I released my new pillows today, the Make Your Bed pillows. and someone from Georgia who I don't even think I know them, they ordered right away and they didn't even use the coupon code. They didn't even use the coupon code. They just straight up paid for it in full. And so those moments remind me that some value it, whether it's the people you want to value it or not, somebody's going to value what it is that you offer. And so that's what I got from that clip. And yeah. What are your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, that was a good one because, we've all have been guilty of it. I feel like most of us have been guilty of it at some point. And the question is, did you learn from it? And are you still repeating the behavior? But, to have that expectation that other people should value something about you more than you do, like that's just not going to happen. You have to teach people how to be your customer and how to be your client. Honestly, you have to set some expectations. And, there are people who, rightfully so, you're going to get taken advantage of in some cases. But it all goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, the making a decision and having a choice. Like anytime that happens, you have to think, what was my role in that? And what led me to be able to value myself in that way? You can't be mad at the person who took for what you said and say, yeah, I got you, I'll pay you. Like you set that value, but you have to have that confidence and understand, what your role is in that. We do have some people who answered your question about the question about their decision. So I'm going to go ahead and share those before we close out. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Paulette is here. She said that I'm sticking to being motivated. That's her decision.
What's up, cousin? What's up, cousin? Thanks for tuning in. I love it. I love it. I'm sticking to being motivated. I will say from things I've learned over the years that um, inspiration and motivation is such a temporary thing. Like you can be motivated one day and be completely over it the next day. So being able to shift that motivation into a decision, like even shifting motivation to a decision to do whatever it is that you're trying to be motivated to do, that can make a world of difference as well. So I love the energy. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's just something I've heard in regards to motivation, that it doesn't last as long as we need it to sometimes. So just take that into consideration. My decision is to run my business based on what I'm called to do versus what people feel I need to be a part of. That is a whole episode in itself. That is a whole episode within itself.
It
I'm,
is.
I'm not even gonna get started on that. That's an amazing. That's an amazing decision. It's a decision I wish I would have made years ago. And I know that you are serious about that decision because you are showing up in a space where you have the support from individuals who are dedicated to helping people make decisions like the one you just put here in the chat. So thank you so much for believing in yourself and being a part of what we're doing with the Be Well community.
Yeah, and give Yolanda a round of applause. Show her some love. She's our newest Be Well Platinum member. She joined the
Yes.
program. She's been showing up for work with me sessions. She's been at the morning meditation, and now she's a member. So thank you for joining us. Looking forward to helping you achieve your big dream. It's Gamma's World says, I'm making a decision to be confident in pricing according to the quality of my products, no matter what.
Perfect. That's my Amy. Hey, Amy, thanks for tuning in. I love that, and that's. I'm not even gonna get started on her products. They have changed my life. I've had eczema my entire life, and I haven't been able to use like 99% of the products on the market. And I've been using her products and haven't had any issues. Like I'm gonna post some before and after pictures. Y'all won't believe the drastic change my skin has had from using her products. So make sure y'all check out Bajune's Body Bliss products.
Drop that link in the comments for us too, Kim.
Yes, put that link in the comments.
All right. So Jackie replied, I'm not getting swayed by others' expectations of me. I have specific things I've set out to do, and I'm going to do them. I can hear her voice.
Literally.
She said, it's all about me right now, and I'm good with that.
That's why I wanted her to elaborate, because I already knew she was going to go in. I knew she had more. I knew she had more to say, because this woman has her. Don't get me started. I love these people in the comments, and I want to say something about all of them. Miss Jackie has gotten it figured out, and she has made. If anybody made a decision, she has made her decision on what she is and what she ain't doing. And I love that. It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Awesome. All right, we will teach people how to be your customer. Okay, so those are some of the quotes that were cool. Thank you for pulling those. All right, people. So that is our show today. We're going to make sure that we put the link in the chat for you so that you can watch the rest of the video on your own. It's about 32 minutes long. As I mentioned before, we have conversations like this on a daily. If you want to be plugged into a group of people who are having conversations like this and always looking for ways to help elevate each other, do the least thing is go to bondtobuild.com, create your profile, and come inside of the community. That's where we are. That's where we're holding our workshops. That's where we're doing personal development. That's where we're supporting each other, helping each other grow. Once you're inside that space, get access to Amani and myself, as well as other people here in the network. Again, Talk It Up Tuesday is sponsored by BeWellMagazines.com. And on our way out, I'm going to play a commercial for BondToBuild.com that we made some couple years ago that I just happened to be dusting off from the archive. And I'll play that for you. So BondToBuild.com to get your membership. In closing, anything that you want to share before we exit the studio?
I don't have any closing thoughts other than I want y'all to actually take those decisions that y'all put in the chat and move on them and take yourself seriously, more serious than you ever have before. I don't want this to just be another video you listen to, another thing you tuned into. Allow yourself to actually move in the direction that you want to go, and just make sure you show up and do your part every single day in every aspect of life, in your business, in your personal life. Just show up and do your part every single day, and take the lessons that you learn along the way and share those with other people as well. So thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Talk It Up Tuesday. Y'all are amazing. Keep showing up.